Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. How's everybody doing today? So I'm going to show you all the items that sold last month. And guys, we did have an improved month. I'm super excited. If you're brand new here, I'm living life freely. I am a reseller on multiple platforms, and we are doing a sold video, everything that's sold for October. So grab a cup of tea, cup of coffee, a snack, or whatever while you're doing your listings or anything like that. Let's dive in and see how our sales doubled from last month. Okay, you guys, we're going to dive right into this. Hopefully you all can hear me well enough. I'm going to make sure my volume is up pretty good here so that you guys can hear me. So yeah, we are going to dive into this. I did have quite a few sales on Depop, nothing on Macari, but we're going to start off with Depop first, then I'll show you Poshmark, and then again we will go through eBay. There are a few orders, so like I said, feel free to grab a cup of tea, cup of coffee, work while you're doing this. We're going to dive right in. Okay, so the first one on Depop were these shorts. And these sold for $11. Now y'all know that on Depop there is like a transaction fee, and then there's like if you boost anything there's a boosting fee. So my fees total, it's a processing fee, 108 and then 88 cents. So a couple bucks for processing and all of that. So basically I made about $9 on a $3 item. So I still tripled my money on that, which is fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to the solds. Oops, completed. Here we go. Okay, the next one is this trucker's jacket that I purchased at the thrift store, the regular thrift store. I paid $4.75. I know these pictures are kind of small. Let me see if I can make this bigger so you guys can see it. There we go. This is a men's trucker jacket. Now when I first purchased it, I thought it was a women's jacket. But upon research, when I was doing the listing, it actually said it's a trucker's jacket. It's a corduroy, very, very vintage. And like I said, I paid $4.75 for this. That's one thing I really like about the jackets at St. Vincent's is their jackets average between like $4.75 and $5.75. Really nice ones might go up to $6 or $7, but the majority of them are $4.75 to $5.75. I did have a couple people interested in this, and then I had somebody send me an offer, which was, because I had it listed for 84, they sent me an offer of 55. Absolutely 100% I'm going to take that. My boosting fee was $5.20. My processing fee $2.80. So really fantastic profit. That was purchased a couple, 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. So these are selling quicker than my sales used to sell. So I'm really happy with what I'm doing as far as how I'm looking up solds when I go into the store and source. I have a certain way that I'm sourcing now. I don't just go into eBay all the time, look up comps. I'm actually doing it different, and it's actually paying off for me. Okay, this jacket sold again. I think I told you guys last time that I had this jacket sell, but I realized in the listing that it showed in the listing that it had a hood on it. This does not have a hood, so I notified the buyer. I apologized. I let her know I just want to let you know that in the listing this showed that it had a hood, but this does not have a hood. My apologies. Do you need to cancel or do you want to keep the order going? She said, yes, I really need the hood. Go ahead and cancel. So we canceled. And then it sold over here on Depop. It did sell for $41.59. This was a really nice puffer coat. It was a Lands End puffer coat. I picked this up at a garage sale before I went out to Montana, and I did get it listed, I know September, October, somewhere in there, and it did sell for $43, so 10 into $43 is great. My fees on this one were $2.37 for the payment processing fee. I guess this one wasn't boosted, so wow, you can't beat that. 10 into basically $40. So really good, sale. Okay, my items for my Goodwill bins hauls are selling, guys. I'm super excited about this. I picked this piece up. It's a Woolrich vintage women's cardigan sweater, full zip, had this beautiful detail on it, and it was 20% off, and they purchased it. Was it for the 27? Let's take a look real quick to make sure. 22. So they sent me an offer of 22. My cog on this was like $1.16 or $1.70 or something like that. Super low. My fees on this, boosting was $176. Payment fee was $151. So yeah, just really, I made $18 on like less than $2. Like I said, probably around $1.30 or something like that. So really good, good sales on these. Okay, next one, the last one on Depop we'll take a look at was some more men's Everlane. I do still have a few of those Everlanes from a couple years ago, that box that I got through Helpsy Source, which I think is a different company now. Um, I think it sold for the $28. Let's go back and check. Sold for $28. It was off 20% off, and it sold for $28. My cog on these was $8. 224 for the boosting fee, 177 for processing fee. So yeah, I made around 20 bucks on that. So almost tripled my money on that. About 2.5 times my money on that. Okay, let's go ahead and go over here to Poshmark, and then we'll finish everything out with eBay. Now, Poshmark, we did have a few orders. Let me go back up here and figure out where we left off, because we've had a few on here. Let me see. Yeah, I know that we did that. Okay, we did those. All right, I think this is kind of where we are. Let me just, I know I did this thing. I think this is where we are. Actually, no, we did that one last time because I remember she tried to do a return on it. Okay, let's take a look and see. Okay, September 13th. My sales were not, oh, this is August, that's September. We're looking for October. So we're going to, I apologize, guys. I should have had these queued up. Here we go. This is it. Okay. I did sell these Blowfish shoes, and this was September, so we're going to go back. This is my first order right here. I apologize, guys. I should have been more organized with this. Y'all are always so patient with me. I really appreciate it. Okay, here's the first one. This was, okay, October 1st. Lane Bryant. This was in one of my hauls that I did a while ago. I was out with my mom, and we decided to go to the thrift store right next to Dairy Queen. I picked this up for 10 bucks. I took a chance on it. Lane Bryant. Actually, I think I did sold on this last month. If this is a repeat, I apologize. Lane Bryant, it sold within a few weeks. So I was very, very happy with this. I paid $10. It sold for $35. I think I did a sold on that one already. Let me see here. What else do we have? Yep, I did sold on that. I did sold on that. That one. Okay. We're going to start here because I think this is where we are. I think I did a few solds last month. So we're going to just do this. Okay. These I've had for a while. These were from one of those old thread-up boxes, Frank Sardo. 7.5 on the size. I do still have some shoes listed. I was really happy to see these go. I think she sent me a $12 offer, and I just made sure that I actually did have them upstairs before I accepted the offer, and I did. Again, this was like, what, 5 something for a thread-up box? These have been listed for a while. I was so happy to see these go. And my earnings on this were $9.05, so I did make a couple bucks on top of my cog for these, and I was really happy to see those move on. Okay, I wouldn't pick up Frank Sardo again. They just do not do well for me. Alright, we're going to switch back to Ben's pieces, guys. I was so happy with this sale. This was that men's overalls Key Imperial that I picked up the second time I went. I paid like around $1, what was it, my cog on this? $1.69 I think for my cog on these, and partially because I had things like this that weighed a couple 2.5 pounds or so. I had this listed for maybe a week or two. I don't even remember. I just know that it sold quickly, and they were very happy with it. Really good profit on this, guys. I was so happy with that. And if you haven't watched my most recent haul from the bins, do go and watch that because I found 3 more of these, and I've already gotten interest in them on different platforms. They weren't in new condition like that. They were beat up, but they're still getting interest. So do go back and go watch my last haul from the bins. I think I'm going to be going again this Saturday. This is Tuesday. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going again this weekend. All right, Lululemon sold. This was another one that I've had for a while. I think I paid $5 for this on a Whatnot show, and it was just a basic Henley shirt, and somebody sent me a $15 offer, and I took it. I'm wanting to get these things moved out. I was very, very glad to get that moved on and to the new buyer. Men's Lululemon is not doing as well for me as it used to, so I will pick it up at the bins, but it had to be a really good piece. I won't really pick up too many shirts like this unless it's from the bins, because as you can see, they're not selling for as much unless it's a men's jacket or something. But I've been hearing other people say even men's Lululemon, unless it's a really substantial piece, Lululemon and men's is not doing as well either. All right, this was another thing that I've had for a very long time, probably like 2 summers ago. Picked these up at a garage sale for a couple bucks. They finally sold for $16. So very happy to see these go. I would not pick up this brand again. The only reason why I think they probably sold it because they were leather upper. I honestly don't know why they picked them. But again, I would not pick that brand up anymore. It took forever for them to sell. All right, next. I've had this for a while as well. It's great, guys. I'm selling off some old items, which makes me very, very happy. I probably paid like $3 for these from a box from a couple years ago. They sold for a $19 offer. And my profit on these was $15. So very, very happy with that. Really good profit on these. But again, they took forever to sell. I have been noticing some people selling cabbie really well, but they're more substantial things. If I had like a cabbie jacket or something like that, I might do that. But I wouldn't do like a shirt or anything anymore. Okay, Vince Burgundy Silk Mini Dress. I paid $3 from this from a box a long time ago, and it sold for $20. Very, very happy with this. Glad again to move some older pieces out. Okay, the next item is, I picked up some kids' jackets. I think it was my second time being there. So, picked this jacket up. My COG was 126. Picked this jacket up, and I was concerned that this wouldn't do well because it's a zero exposure, but it did sell. Somebody sent me an offer. I think I had it listed for $25. They sent me a $21 offer, and I said absolutely 100% yes. Fees were $4.20. I made $16.80 on something that was $1.26. This was the jacket. Zero exposure. I picked up a couple kids' jackets that day. I was being very particular because I did make some mistakes on a few that I picked up. They ended up having damage that I did not see. So last time I went, I didn't really pick up too many kids' pieces. I focused on sweaters. Like I said, if you have not seen my last haul yet for the bins, do go watch it. I was much more particular with my kids' pieces. And if I do find sweaters and jackets, I'm really, really looking at them in detail to make sure they don't have damage, because I did come home with some that did have damage and I couldn't list them. All right, so thank goodness my COG was really low on that one, and what I do have listed will definitely pay for the haul. Okay, this one is still in transit, guys. This was that thrift haul that I did, like I said, when I had my mom. That Lane Bryant jacket that we showed, I picked this up the same day. I was very concerned about picking this up because it did have damage. It ended up having more damage when I got home. I did not realize it had. But the sold comps on ones in good condition were around $150. So even though it had damage, I decided to go ahead and list it. I picked this up for $11, and it sold for, I received an $85 offer. I was so glad I received this offer. I'm very excited for this to finish processing through Poshmark, get paid. Again, I paid $11 for this, so I still made really good money on this. Even though it had damage, it did end up having a hole in it. Let's take a look at the details. So fees and everything, I made $68 on that, and it was an $11 purchase. So still really, really good profit on this. Very, very glad that I took a chance on it, and hopefully they will be really happy with everything. I did make note of all the damage in the listing and the pictures and everything, so even if they come back like that jacket a few weeks ago, she came back saying, well, that was a fit thing. But I didn't make note in pictures and in the description the hole and the damages and all that. So they can't come back saying that they want a refund. Okay, Land's End, I did sell another Land's End piece. This was a lamb's wool. One of the reasons why I picked it up is it was a lamb's wool and it was an extra large men's. I was hoping to make a little bit more on this piece, but I've had this for a while, and I wanted to just get it sold. I paid $3 for it, so I was really, really happy to see this go, and I think partially because it was Land's End. Land's End does not sell as well, I think, even though it was lamb's wool, and again, I've had this piece for a while. I let it go. I just wanted it out the door and moving on. All right, last piece on Poshmark was a piece that I picked up at St. Vincent's a few weeks ago. I paid up a little bit on this piece, and I'm so glad that it sold. I paid $7 for this. Probably should not have paid $7 for it, but I did. It's an extra large lined Sherpa Carhartt. I was really hoping to get a little bit more for this, maybe like 30, 35, but I was just really happy to receive an offer and move it out. I think I paid like $6.75 for this, more than I probably should have. But I was really glad to receive a $25 offer and get it moved out and put that money into something else because I was a little bit concerned about whether or not it would sell. I made 20 bucks on it. So even at $6.75, I more than doubled my money on it. Oh, sorry, I paid $7. So yeah, I was just really happy to have that moved out. I think when it comes to Carhartt, the jackets and like the pants do even better than sweatshirts. So I'll probably be a little bit more mindful with Carhartt in that with that next time. Okay, let's head over to eBay and finish this off. We've got a few on eBay too. I'm going to show you the piece, and then I'm not sure if it actually is showing the actual selling price. Okay, so this AMX women's purple corduroy jacket, I picked this up at St. Vincent's about a month and a half ago for $4.75. Very vintage. It gave me really good feedback. This was in one of the hauls. You guys, if you're not watching my hauls, do watch my hauls, because seeing what comes in my hauls and then seeing what's selling, to me that's important, because you can see a haul and then not watch the sold. So anyway, this one sold for $27.57 on an offer. So really great profit on that piece. All right, this dress was one of the dresses that I picked up before I ended up going out to Montana to go take care of things for my dad. I took a chance on this. Not so much the size, yes, but it being tropical. And again, this was in June, so we were still going through summer, and then I wasn't able to list a lot this summer. So I was so glad that even though I didn't get this listed this summer, that it still sold. And it sold for 20 bucks. And I paid $4.75 for this, so really good profit on that piece. All right, I sold some Levi 501. These sold for $17. These were women's, $34.27, and these I've had for a while. I'm not sure how long, but I've had them for a little while, so I was really, really glad to get those moved out. Okay. Again, these sold for $26. I paid $3 for them. So really good profit on these. Okay, here is a women's sanctuary olive denim jacket. It's saying that I paid $8 for this. This must have been the thrift store, because if that was St. Vincent's, I would not have paid $8 for it. This sold for $24, so even with fees, I still made a good profit on that. So I'm really glad that I sold it for $24. All right, guys, this was another one of those pieces that I picked up at St. Vincent's that I took a chance on. This was a gorgeous cable knit sweater. You guys probably remember seeing this in a haul a couple months ago. So excited that this sold. Even though it's Moda International, it's a wool blend cable knit sweater. Gosh, guys, this was so beautiful. I was tempted to keep this for myself, but it was a little bit short for what I like to wear for dresses. I usually prefer more like a midi, and this was definitely like a mini or around the knee. Since I'm tall, it would have been above the knee, and I'm just not comfortable wearing dresses like that anymore. So I was really happy to get what I got for this. This sold for $37.49, and again, I paid $4.75. So really good profit on those. Very, very happy with that. This was something I picked up at garage sale a couple years ago. American Eagle Vintage Cream Knit Sweater. Size medium. I paid a couple bucks for it. And it sold for $30. So I was very, very, very happy with that. Really good profit on that. All right, you guys, I could not believe this. This was one of the items that I picked up at the bins. It was either my first or second time there. It was my first time, I could tell by the cog. I paid $1.19 for this. It literally sold the day that I listed it. I was so excited about this. Sold the day I listed it for $57.54. I paid $1.19 for that. And the main reason why I picked this up is the color, the great style, but it was 100% silk and it was a size 16 and it was a midi dress. That's the main reasons why I picked it up. So really good factors. Sold the same day I listed it within a couple of hours. All right, guys, this is something I've had for a while. This was through a thrift store, but I purchased this like well over 2 years ago. I've had this for a really long time, so I was super excited that I received an offer on this. It's a great coat. It's a vintage top. It's a size 8, though. I don't know if that made a difference. But it sold for $31.43, so I made a really good profit on it. I probably paid maybe $4 or $5 for this jacket. All right, another great men's piece that sold for $28.89. This Woolrich Blue Flannel Triple Extra Large for the men. Just a nice piece. Woolrich is doing well. I was so happy with this sale for $28.89. Paid $3 for it. That was probably through a men's box, because that was a couple years ago when I was still doing all those boxes. All right, guys, this is another thrift store pickup. I took a chance on this one, even though it's Coldwater Creek, guys. It's still a merino wool blend. Paid $4.75 for this at the thrift store. It was a beautiful sweater, extra large, size 16, and I took a chance on it, and it sold for $35.06. So my chances that I'm taking on even items that are not popular, like Coldwater Creek, because it's an extra large and it's merino wool blend, it did very well, and she loved the sweater. I got feedback on that one. So, all right, this is another one of those really old men's pieces that I got from Thread Up men's boxes 2 and 3 years ago. Extra large. It took forever for this to sell, but it finally did for $16. It sold for $16. That was the total. So yeah. Okay, this was something that my husband picked up at a garage sale a couple years ago. We do sell some hard goods. I think we paid a couple bucks for this. We've had this for a while, and I finally relisted it again, and it sold for $10. We had it listed for much higher, but because we've had it for so long, we only paid a couple bucks. We went ahead and just moved it out and got it going. Okay, here is a J. Crew. This was from that J. Crew box that I did last spring. Paid $8 for each piece. I received an offer on this one for $30, and I took it to get it moved out. And again, good profit, because I paid $8 and they purchased it for $30, so I still tripled my money on that piece. Again, really happy to get more of that J. Crew moving. All right, guys, this was another bins piece. I picked this up last time I went. I paid $1.26 for it, and it sold within a week, maybe. Knox Rose. This is not a popular brand, but I picked it up because it was a large. It was tunic, had great print. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a chance, and it did really well. That one sold for $14, but I paid $1.26 for it, so really good profit, and I was really happy with that. Alright, guys, this is one that I picked up at St. Vincent's, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months ago. This was listed on Depop, and it had so many people interested in it, but nobody would buy it. I paid $7.50 for this. I paid up a little bit, but it had such great reviews. Again, since it only took like a month and a half to sell, I'm still really, really thrilled with it. It just cracks me up that this had, I'm not kidding you, probably over 40 interests, 40 likes on this on Depop. And I had it for a good price. Somebody finally sent me an offer for $46.46, and it was purchased. I paid $7.50. So this was a really great profit piece. So I was really thrilled that it sold on eBay too. All right, Silver Nash. I have some Silver Nash listed. Paid $5 for these. I don't remember if this was through thrift store or like probably yard sale because of the $5. And they sold for $21. So really, really good profit on that as well. All right, this was something that I've had for a long time as well. From an old men's threaded box, guys, I'm so happy to be getting some of these old pieces moved out. I sold it for $8. I pretty much got my cog back, and I was really okay with that because I just wanted my money back to move on and invest in something else. Alright guys, clogs are doing very well for me. If you haven't been watching my sale videos, I've sold like 3 pairs of clogs in the last couple months. I picked these up at St. Vincent's. Their shoes are $3.75, which is such a great deal. I decided to start going back because even a couple years ago when I would go thrifting at St. Vincent's, they didn't always have good shoes. Since I've been going back to the thrift store, I've been checking shoes out, and I've been getting more shoes than they're selling. So I'm really, really happy with this. I did get great feedback on this as well, and these sold for $27.19, paid $3.75, so really great profit on that as well. Okay, we were out at a garage sale. Remember I showed you guys all those free scrubs that I got? This was a Peanuts Christmas scrub. Again, I paid nothing for these. They were giving stuff away. My husband and I took advantage of it. They purchased this for $29.59. That's basically pure profit right there, minus my fees, which is probably like $3 or $4. Okay, I've had these pants for a while. I don't remember where I got them. Oh, a Banana Republic box. That's where I got them. I can tell by the cog. I've had these for probably 2 or 3 years. I did get really good feedback on these pants. They sold for $15, and I was so excited to get these moved out. Because my cog was so low, I still made really, really good money on these. Alright guys, another piece that I picked up at St. Vincent's. I did pay up a little bit on this. I took a chance. I paid $11 for this in my haul maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And somebody bought this. It did get a few likes on a couple different platforms too. Guys, I made $44 on this. It sold for $44, paid $11, so really good profit on that as well. Alright, a couple more. So this was another thrift store pickup. Paid $5 for this Masook cable knit. I picked this up because one of the gals that I follow, she said Masook was really good, so I have a couple pieces in it, testing it out. This was the only one that was actually getting interest. It sold for $42 on an offer. Paid $5, so even once they took fees out, maybe $5, $6 for fees. Another really great sale. Alright guys, more men's shoes that sold from St. Vincent's. These were $5.75 at St. Vincent's. I took a chance on these. I picked these up a few weeks ago, and they're sold already. I'm so happy with this. These were a little bit worn, but even at that, they are leather. One of the main reasons why I picked them up is because they're leather, and they sold for $56. Very, very happy with that. Alright guys, another piece from the bins. I picked this Gap women's blazer up. It was a size 18, and it was wool blend, and I paid $1.26 for this. It did so well. I'm super excited about this. We'll definitely be keeping an eye out on more wool, anything. And this sold for $30 on an offer. Okay, 2 more pieces, guys. Actually, 1 more, because... Oh, you know what? I'm showing you November sales. Oh my goodness. Alright, well that's okay. That's okay. These were all November sales. Let's go ahead and finish this off. So Title IX, I picked this up for $1.75 at the bins. I've heard Title IX is really good, so I took a chance on it. Sold these for about $20. This had free shipping on it. I was testing out free shipping again. And the last piece, guys, I picked this up at the at a thrift store. I think this was probably the regular Goodwill, because this was $7.50. I'm taking a chance on some vintage Calvin Klein. This was an emerald green. What am I trying to say? Velvet dress right here. It's a velvet dress, but it was vintage Calvin Klein also. I had a few likes on this. Size 14, and it sold. I was so happy with this for $37.56. Alright guys, I ended up going to some of the November sales. That's totally fine. But just wanted to show you, now some of these sales, because I did go into November, I doubled my sales from September to October. So some of these, since they were November sales, I'll try to make note of that when I do my sales next month. We might have a couple duplicates, I don't know. But let's go ahead and finish this video off for you guys. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and finish this off. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Really, really appreciate it. My goal this month is hopefully to not only be where I was for October sales, but even add to that. I'm doing well so far, but I'm hoping to get even more sales coming through. My goal is to get back up to what I was doing a couple years ago, if you guys know my story. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're still with me, thank you so much for seeing the whole video. Do feel free to give this a thumbs up if you like this type of content. I'm going to be doing another small haul that we did from the thrift store here soon, and then going back to the bins again this weekend. So guys, so if you like bins hauls, with sold videos, and other thrift store hauls, do feel free to give me a follow. Give this video a thumbs up, guys. I really appreciate y'all. And as always, be productive. We will see you next time.